Welcome to the Energy Table. My name is Orange, and I'm here today with Infinitum
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's Infinitum Bye. I'm here today with my friend Orange, and we're gonna talk about my life as a musician.
I love how you're taking over the show. No, it's good, beautiful. This is a
And
space for expression. So
yeah,
I'm glad that even though we've only met,
yeah,
we already understand
absolutely.
what it is that we can do,
Yeah,
you know.
synergy.
So, I'd love to talk with you about you, purpose,
Yeah,
intention, journey,
yeah,
your calling
yeah,
as a creative, as a energy being, because instantly I'd acknowledged your energy, and I think it was like a mutual, or us, it was a mutual
I agree.
momentum, alignment.
Yeah.
So let us know about you. Who are you? What has been your journey of becoming a musician?
My
And
journey has been filled with the most beautiful lessons. So I was born with um, and from a family that is could be considered a musical family in Italy,
oh,
northern
beautiful.
Italy. And my father used to own a music venue when I was a child. So I was born surrounded by the power of music, seeing a lot of people enjoy music, seeing people queuing out of the music venue and, kissing themselves, hugging themselves, not stressing. I remember like as a child looking at the queues of the supermarket compared to the music venue and thinking, wow, my family is doing something beautiful, you know. And so by being born in that environment, I was naturally brought forward to become a musician.
Yeah.
And I met a lot of musicians that were playing in bands, singer-songwriters. And by being surrounded, I then started to listen to so much music of all sorts.
What kind of range of music were you exposed to?
Everything you can imagine. I'm an omnivore,
Yeah.
literally. I love all sorts of genres. And so I remember like we used to have Walkmans. I'm sure you do remember Walkmans, and
Yes.
that was
The
a blessing.
portable
Yeah,
music, like, yeah.
whether they would be the small one or with the CDs, I had them
Yeah, yeah.
because that was my kind of like medium for
Yeah.
listening to music. And my brothers, we used to share music together, on it.
Yeah. How many
And
brothers do you have?
I have many brothers. So in total, we are 4 brothers and 1 sister. So in our family. So yeah,
That's beautiful.
it's a huge
And
family.
where are you in the order of
I'm
five?
the last one,
You're the baby.
the baby.
High five to the babies in the family.
There we go.
Okay, tell me more. Tell me more. How were you? How was your? It's beautiful that you share the influence, because I feel like a lot of musicians have an experience where they are being challenged for
Yeah.
music to be a career and
Yeah.
to be something you can trust to be successful in, especially when you may be introduced to a lack of support by your family and community.
Yeah.
So hearing that you've kind of been
Blessed.
paved the way and blessed, and I assume supported by your
Yeah.
family as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me more. Like how.
So how that came to be, I had the best childhood because I could paint as much as I want to. I could be surrounded by art with no expectations whatsoever, which is the best way I think of approaching it as a child, to develop like the love and appreciation for it. And I would paint all day at the beginning, right? And that was to open up the doorway of my imagination, or doorways, same. And as soon as I found out the painting was a wonderful thing that made my mind feel like jelly, colorful jelly, then I realized that there was a strong connection to sound. And that's when I decided to go and jam randomly on some instruments, right?
How old were you then?
I was around 8 years old.
What beautiful age.
And,
8. If you look at the infinitum.
yeah, exactly. It's all connected, guys, yeah? And yeah, so I went through that kind of time where I was like surrounded by my brother as well, being a pianist.
Oh.
Yeah, playing in a band and in bands actually, and we had so many instruments like at home. Like we're talking about the drums, synthesizers, guitars, bass.
Sounds like heaven. To
Sounds
me.
like heaven, literally. And it was all in my garage, very kind of American style, And So I remember that they used to be there. My brother sometimes used to use them. Sometimes he didn't. So sometimes I would go in and just like mess around with it, jam around, and I think that after doing that, I realized like there's something really beautiful about playing music, even if I didn't kind of knew at the time. Then my mother saw me and decided to put me into lessons, and through that, I then started to study at first privately with private teachers, then in a private academy in Italy, which I don't think is necessarily needed, but at the beginning I think it's fine to have that as a kind of a base, you
It's
know.
also taking away maybe insecurities.
Insecurities, yeah.
When you are paired with some who did have that
Yes.
kind of qualification.
Yes, and the teachers were very nice, I would say. They knew how to deal with. I would say I literally was not insecure. I had this kind of confidence because I was literally like brought forward to like be a musician. I remember like there were kids that would be vomiting before going on stage
Oh yeah.
at the end of the
Okay.
year. But I would literally be like, "Come on, dude, let's go. You can do it." You know, be the kind of uplifting kind of dude there. But yeah, having a good time learning classical guitar, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, a bit of bass, drums, you know, the kind of like band-like instrument available, as well as vocal training. And slowly beginning to realize that, you know, the school academy, it's a nice thing at the beginning, but then you need to do something. You need to vibe with yourself. You need to make sure that you bring that out to the world. And how do you do that at the beginning? I realized that I could start doing small concerts in bars, restaurants, you know, small places that are gatherings for people to enjoy, you know, at the beginning covers, of course, because that's all that I knew. But as my confidence started to build up, then I started writing my own songs and yeah, had beautiful experiences in Italy, playing in all sorts of places, doing a bit of basking as well. Played a lot in Crema, which is a city up north. Made a lot of money for the time. You know, I would come home in just like 5 hours with more than 100 euro. You know, that would be a lot for me, given the fact that I would be going to school then, and professors were not even paid 100 euro a day.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it was a very clear direction
Yeah.
that you were on.
Yeah.
Was there anything in life that was challenging you?
It was challenging. Everything was challenging in the sense that I was the only guy doing this in the place, but that was cool at the same time. Now that I look back with some wisdom, you know. But back then it felt challenging because, you know, everybody's going to spend time with friends and I have to do this. But then I realized, like, you know, by doing it, like I gather so much cool experiences that will be forever grateful for, you know. And so that's the beautiful power of music, I think, that maybe it separates the individual who practices it to then uplift it.
Yeah.
And so I would say the things that are challenging at the beginning is figuring out, you know, your sounds as an artist and things like that. But I've been through, as anyone did, you know, failures that were needed.
Yeah.
To
Let's
understand.
redefine the word failure. Education. No, not education.
I think it's fine to look. I think it's fine because a lot of people in the music industry typically talk about it, and it's fine that that exists in with that word. I think because you need to write bad songs to come up then with your own sound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you and me, we can maybe talk about failure and understand it.
Yeah.
I find when we go outside to the world and we speak about failure, for a lot of people, it's attached with shame, embarrassment.
No. I'm not saying shame. It's
No,
just,
I know you're not,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to use, because we have viewers, you know, and I don't want...
Absolutely. I want you to know, people, that failure is needed in order to learn. This is
Yeah.
why we're humans, you know. So, just like you know, you would go and hear other interviews of other musicians, they would tell you their stories, you know, and
Yeah.
what often is the same is that at the beginning we make music trying to be something we're not, you know, and that goes on to everybody. You know, you hear like people like Chris Martin or Ed Sheeran talking about it, and that's also my case, you know, and but that was needed. And then with some like beautiful experiences, meeting other creatives, producers, and having more and gather more understanding about productions and things. I started to understand my sound, how I wanted to sound. And by then, during that kind of junction of time, I started to get a bit bored of Italy because of the constrictions and the limitations and the fact that I always wanted to write music in English as well, because that's the only way to be understood by everybody. That's the main language. And never listened to too much Italian music, and so that was natural for
I
me.
do love Italian music, though.
Italian music there are some cool songs, but for me personally, I love to be capable of being understood by people. You know what I mean? From English. So that at that time I was 18 years old, and you know, at the time I was like going to high school. Decided to drop out of high school to fully pursue my actual calling. That was strong, and that gave me like a sense of I am, you know. And that is the moment when I decided either to go to New York
Oh,
or London.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sorry, it reminds me of me, because when I was 19, I said, and I left Germany and I was looking at America or London.
Yeah.
And because it was too limiting,
Yeah.
you know, it was a calling that was not, I couldn't
Yeah.
acknowledge where I could fit in where I was. So
Exactly.
we have to move, isn't it? We have to see the world, get more
Especially when we've been
influences.
just in one place, we should just travel and discover. That's the point. And so yeah, through that, I have.
So where did you choose to go?
I then decided, well, I could go to New York or London, but the reality is London is closer. I had a cousin. I have a cousin already here, and at the time she was, you know, been there for like 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
So she had some kind of connections, you know.
Yeah,
in case.
yeah.
At the beginning, it
Or
was kind of,
understanding of the space, yeah.
yeah. At the beginning, it was a struggle, you know, especially like moving in at 18, 19 years old, and but not as bad as I heard from other people doing that kind of move, because I still had something to deep dive in, you know, music, and the fact that in London I had all sorts of open mics every day. That gave me, I maybe felt sad only the first kind of like week, not sad, but kind
Like
of like a bit
homesick?
lost, you know.
Okay. I mean, change is
Yeah.
to be adjusted to. It's
Yeah.
quite normal when you have something that feels safe and familiar.
But underneath it, I was so excited as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I remember landing here and being like, I didn't even want to sit in a bus. I just wanted to walk and see everything and smell everything and look at everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's just
Yeah.
so much stimulation.
Absolutely.
And so much inspiration.
Yes, that's what London is, you know. So I still remember the first sunset I saw that day when I came to London, and at first I stayed in an hostel, of course, and every single day I promised myself I'm gonna go out and do an open mic. At the time I didn't have a guitar with me. I only had some pedals with me, and so, you know, open mics have guitars that can handle you and use
Normally
them.
they have something set. If it's not, you know, right, a DJ that plays
exactly.
your sounds.
That can give it to you, and so forth. I had some good experiences at the beginning, and I realized, like, whoa, people understand me here. Like, it's beautiful. I love British culture. Yeah, I just had this kind of like awakening, and I started playing every day. Then open mics after open mics, got myself a little job on the side in a Mexican restaurant called Desperados in Angel, which was this crazy place where I would literally, I stayed there for a month because they were a bit racist towards me,
Yeah.
the people there. But at the same time, like, as soon as I did like that kind of month of full open micing, I then met people that were like, we're doing a competition, we would like you to come in and be part of it, and it's gonna be here, and it's coming from this management, da, 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 da. And I said yes, you know. And at the time I used to work there, but I decided to fire myself from it, because
Quit. You quit.
quit, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, just quit, and you know, getting the money that I made it that month to then like pay for some rehearsal.
How many
room.
years was that from when you got here to when you were at this stage?
That was 2015. So I moved to UK on the 3rd of March 2015.
Oh, you moved here then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I'm talking about the first month now.
Yeah.
So we are in between March to April,
Yeah.
and at the end of March, I got this kind of thing happening where I met this A&R. They told me about this competition that they were doing. Da, 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 da. So I took part of it. Got a rehearsal room after quitting the job and started practicing. My songs, honestly, at the beginning were very bad, but still managed to have a good impression, and
Well,
I
it
won the
can't be that
competition.
bad then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I won the competition. So I showed up. I still remember the day I showed up. Everybody was a jazz and blues singer or rock singer. I was the only guy with like a guitar, and I remember that I was the last one to perform. That's maybe what got me like
Look what
noticed the most. You know what I mean?
you were the last, and you were unique.
The first one, yeah, yeah,
So you don't, it gives you a little inkling on timing,
yeah.
and it gives you inkling on alignments.
Absolutely,
Beautiful.
absolutely. And then I remember going out at Jets Cafe, which was a venue. I don't know if it's still there in Camden Town.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, having a good time, just like singing to some Sam Cooke songs with a cover band that was playing there, celebrating, and then starting to like talking to the management and be like, you're gonna start do proper gigs now. These are gonna be concerts, and you're gonna start with opening acts, supporting acts, and and I said, please give it all to me. That's what it's needed at the moment.
You've got a fearless spirit.
Yeah, fearless, and at the time I was literally just looking for these beautiful experiences, and I didn't have a place to stay because I stayed in Oslo at the beginning, so I put my luggage at my cousin's apartment, and I just started couch surfing.
Yeah.
Like,
how was that for you?
to save cash. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I think in London, creatives in London, unless you have family here and you
Yeah.
grew up here,
Yeah.
it's a thing you have to go through to experience the free state of opportunities and
Yeah.
like just where you land, and it's
Honestly, I'm so grateful because I had such cool experiences playing concerts, being noticed by people, and honestly saying like, look, I don't have a place to stay tonight. If you want to, I could serenade you for like an hour and then just sleep on your sofa or stuff like this.
it's exchange.
It's an exchange, exactly.
Yeah.
And people were so happy. Like here is like a 19 years old, 18 years old singer-songwriter, just staying at our
I've
place.
couch served,
Exactly.
and I've had people couch serve at mine.
Yeah.
So it's something that I feel like we have to facilitate. We're in this together.
Yeah,
Right. So
exactly.
you come across like beautiful, soulful people when we can acknowledge and not judge.
Yeah.
And understand, like, sometimes this is the season of somebody's great journey.
Yeah.
That may look like something, but it's to do with something very different.
Yeah.
So it's London is a very unique place for that.
Absolutely. And I feel like people were so supportive as well. Like, one thing that people don't understand, when you're musicians and you have the guts to show up, people see that. They love you, and that they're willing to help you if you are like in difficulties, like I was, And my exchange was like playing some tune for them, let them having a good time together. Stayed at some couples' places. They had like huge apartments or like houses or small apartments everywhere that I could at the beginning, and I was gigging almost every day. And at the beginning was just opening acts and supporting acts, because I had to like build up, to then become the headliner and doing my own shows. And I
Yeah.
wasn't there yet at the time. But I met so many beautiful and wonderful people along the way that just helped me out as well. We listened to your music. We want you to come with us and play this evening here. So sometimes I would end up even having like 3 gigs per day. There was even one time that I did 6 a day.
I think that's very exciting.
That's very exciting, yeah. And it was a crazy hell of a ride, but at the beginning was so needed. Also, like, to give me like the kind of like stamina
Yeah.
that is required to be like doing stuff like this at the beginning. And
Did you feel burned out?
I weirdly I didn't, because I felt like I was living my dream. And I feel like I feel burned out if I'm not fully like honest to myself in regards to what it is that I'm doing. Like, I felt burned out at school. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not an academic mind. I used to I used to tell to professor, like, there is no connection between professors and occupations. Mic drop. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that I was with a different kind of ability to perceive the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And so yeah, through that, I then played in most music venues that you can imagine in central London, from like places in Old Street to like Camden Town to like Oxton to like you
All the
name
places.
Acne, yeah,
All the
many music
Dalston,
venues.
probably.
Yeah,
They used to be
Dalston, yeah,
Dalston.
Dalston, yeah. I actually went to. I also played like at a Rastafari festival. They did once in there, so yeah.
I can see your energy being able to be appreciated and embraced in so many different
Yeah,
environments.
I
You
agree.
know, like, because it's energy. I know you said earlier, like, you know, like people were receiving you in a certain way, and they were like, you were not yet there,
Yeah.
but it was like you were very well embraced. But I feel like your energy, it would be very difficult for someone with heart to close a door to someone with heart.
Yeah, exactly.
You
'Cause,
know,
yeah,
and then not understand that we are in a safe space.
Yeah.
This is a safe energy, but we may not know each. It's just how I feel about you. We
Yeah.
only met, but I feel like very trusting towards you,
Yeah.
and I know that there's a lot to unpack that we can heal deeper with,
Yeah.
or we can accept life further
Exactly.
and better and give
or
ourselves more
discuss.
grace.
Discuss. It's beautiful to discuss about this stuff because it's so deep. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like, and yeah, coming from like the aspect of like showing yourself. With what you have at the kind of like age, doing all of those experiences got me with some kind of wisdom that I felt like I only have this. Like I'm talking to my friends, they're still at school, and kind of like in the hypnotic trance, you know. And I'm doing this, and I feel like I'm blessed, you know. And so yeah, the kind of like societal bullshit started to collapse a bit.
In your mind, right?
You know what I'm saying? That kind of like
Listen, this is not about me, but I've also quit my last years of school to come here because it didn't make sense
Yeah.
having to sign up so early to something that I don't yet know I'm becoming.
Yeah.
And because you just want to express.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to express had nothing to do with the curriculum, really.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we trying to fit into? So I completely understand. And
Yeah.
I was from Germany. It's not an environment that would have accepted it.
Yeah.
I came from a university town. So I'm still expressing myself towards why it's not that valuable to me. But now that I think like when you mature,
Yeah.
you become older, you feel less, you need less of the validation from your environment.
True story. Yeah.
So you can accept and be confident in your own skin.
Yeah.
And when we are younger and we have all these differences and how we see the world alongside the ones that we love and the ones that, you know, we used to be closer with in the way that we may speak and do things. And we
Yeah.
can see the differences. It's like... It's you know it's not an obstacle, but it's like it's just clarity, it's insight, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we are in our own heads, in
Yeah.
our own experiences, just doing what it is that we really want to do and not what society says. Because it's
We
not a
should.
lot of people that I'm realizing at my age that have this mindset from young.
Yeah.
A lot of people had to first almost like sell themselves out to then come terms with the reality and go to the other side.
Yeah, I agree.
know?
I agree. Absolutely. And I feel like that's because uniqueness is the evolutionary driving force of the human species.
Hey, say that again.
That uniqueness is the evolutionary driving force of the human species.
Hey.
And we are made to be unique. Like, but some people can wear it. And some people can't wear it at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why, for instance, you know, I cut it off quickly out of like that kind of like a school mentality system is because I understood that's not teaching me who I really am. That's teaching me what society want me to be in order for me to be in worker on a lower salary, etc., and not succeed in life in doing something that I really am.
Which is also what you, in the parallel, are already experiencing outside of school.
True story.
Because I did performing arts, I did other creative things,
Yeah.
and I felt so seen.
Yeah.
and I could see the doors opening over there. And whenever I go into school, like, I'm a problem. I'm called trouble because
Yeah.
my mind is just like this,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and I
yeah.
can't be like the 30 children behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was very clear, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to always have the kind of thing happening to me at the end of the that year when I stopped going to school, where like specifically one professor, she was like the French professor. She used to just scream at me for like, but I wasn't like doing like bad stuff or anything. She just like, I don't know, maybe she was a bit, honestly, like maybe because I used to have concerts at school as well, and like, you know, talking about stuff like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and maybe some people might have been a bit jealous as well, you know.
You-
That's
Now being an adult,
yeah,
looking at life back in the days, we see that those adults that we thought are meant to know it all,
yeah,
they're just children that grew up and
Exactly.
are somewhere in their journey.
exactly.
You might be the reason that she will come to terms with the reality.
exactly.
Or, you know, she might be an artist that had to give up
Exactly.
her creative. Like, there's so many different ways to perceive. She might have a child that is like you,
Yeah.
and she's trying to, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like so through going that kind of like path, I really awakened like that side of my passion, you know, outwardly, you know. And then I started to. I actually had a few nights when I was couch surfing that I was deleted concerts, and
You were.
so these concerts that I was meant to do were deleted.
Oh, they were
last
cancelled.
minute.
Okay.
And
By you or by
not
the...
by me, by the management.
Okay.
There was like they couldn't find the sound engineer, etc.
Okay.
So that was the moment where I could have asked about couch surfing to the people. So there was a few nights where I couldn't find anyone to couch surf. I just slept in King's Cross St Pancras station
Yeah.
with the other businessmen. They were sleeping there in the night,
Because they were waiting for the first trains.
waiting for the first train, or you know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first underground or whatever. And so yeah, only few days I spent without a place to stay. Then you know, saved some cash.
How many years was it that you were just flowing with having a shelter and
So I did 6 months of couch surfing,
wow.
which is a lot. I feel like.
In London as well, because London is very fast paced. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a place that you can isolate to, it can be.
Yeah, but I used to go to parks and write songs in parks. I love to write songs in parks and like, you know, be amongst nature.
Yeah.
That's really cool for me.
You're also an earth element, right? You're
Oh,
earth,
yeah.
Earth sign.
And my songs, I think they speak about nature as well. So
Your songs, let's speak about... I mean, we will come back to the journey. I would also like to get to the place, because we have 15 minutes left.
yeah,
I'd love to also get inside of how your name came about.
yeah. So I had like an altered state of consciousness experience around 2019 after writing some compositions. And I remember listening to those compositions and having this name coming at me, you know, Infinitum Bye.
I love that, the way you just said it.
And yeah, I was in my bedroom, which was with a home studio inside.
Yeah.
And during the night, actually, maybe like at 3 a.m., I woke up and I remember taking like a piece of paper, writing it down for me to remember it, and went to sleep again. Woke up the other day, and I was like, "This is a cool name, you know."
It is.
It kind of does represent like my sound that I have, and also like it can mean so many things, you know.
What does it mean to you?
So yeah, I would say personally, at the time, it was a form of expression that I had to tap through in order to let go of all the ways that society have kind of like programmed in me. So infinitum, if you think about the word infinity, and by could be like a departure from old ways, you know what I mean, into something new. So. As well as many other things. So it doesn't have necessarily like one meaning, and I like that because it can mean a lot of things. And
It's like death and rebirth.
Exactly.
Constant.
Yeah.
I have this line that somebody blessed me with. You know who you are. but it's the forever unfolding beingness, because we
Yeah.
constantly redefine ourselves if we allow
Yeah,
ourselves.
absolutely.
So it's beautiful that you kind of brand yourself with that,
Yes.
because it again is fearless.
Yes, and I got a lot of love and appreciation from the spiritual community for it, because I feel like it's a very spiritual name in a way.
Were
in a
you a very
sense.
spiritual person, I feel?
I had
Yes.
to be spiritual at the time because I started to meditate out of a need of meditation. You know, we all hit that rock bottom, I feel like, in life, and then we start to meditate. And so it was the beginning of my kind of like spiritual journey. And at the time, I used to make a lot of experimental sounds. I started to write the most experimental soundtracks, music ever you could ever imagine, with like synthesizers, pedals, and things that haven't
So
been
up to then you were just with the guitar,
before.
and then you started
So
adding.
before I used to be just with the guitar. Then I
Yeah.
started to experiment with that kind of stuff.
After 2019,
2019.
after the name activated you.
Then that name activated me, literally.
Yes.
And yeah, so I was literally then redirected into this new path, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I started to go through this path of writing the most experimental music possible, maybe to move beyond the comprehension that I had at the time. You know what I mean? Into something new. And
It's like you're trying to reprogram yourself.
yes, it was a way of rewiring the patterns of my.
And experimenting. It's
Exactly.
like isn't this what life is? When they say life is adventure,
Life is an adventure.
explore. World is your playground.
Absolutely.
This is what
Yes.
I think it's about. Just play.
Yeah.
Don't judge. Define. Just enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely with it. And so that was like the time also where I started to literally activate like a compositional awareness that was not there prior to that time. In 2016, I released my first single, Rise Above, very uplifting kind of
Love to hear it.
experimental folk ambient kind of track that is very beautiful, and you should want to listen to it as well, I feel like. And which is available on Catharsis, which is my first singer-songwriter record available.
Where is it available?
Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, you name it. You know,
Okay.
Amazon, whatever you like.
Can I also ask you, when you were transitioning, because I think 2019 collectively,
Yeah, it was a shift.
huge shift.
Huge shift.
Huge shift. And my reflection in that shift was the moment the changes was happening, and since we embraced change,
Yeah.
there was a lot of new obstacles,
Yeah.
new mountains discovered
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
were not seen prior, and one had to start overcoming because you
Yeah.
choose to evolve, and everyone else says no.
Yes, exactly. And
So how were
especially-
you received as the musician that has now is now maybe not as clear to the audience or to the people that already knew you and your craft? Were you received well? Were they open to you?
Yeah, I was. So I was very well received by people that of all sorts, really, at the time. Especially at the shift, like I noticed, like, oh, you're doing something that is. I'm like, I love your new trajectory. You know, people
Yeah.
were telling me this, and it's really interesting. We're going somewhere like I'm not hearing other people going there. I like that. You know, when something is unique, you can hear it, and so when I had that, then I started to release that weird kind of experimental music out of having a lot of people saying, yo, this is really cool. Just release it to the world. It's interesting. And we listened to it. And then I started to feel like I want to go back to write songs, but with a new twist.
So at that point, you were just doing the sounds.
So yeah, just the sounds, and then I started to implement that kind of mentality, which, by the way, is the cosmic surrealist avant-garde music. This is how I call this new genre that I pioneered.
Oh, I was this. You know, that was this question in my head.
Yeah.
Didn't want to interrupt you, but I just wanted to ask: did you name your birthed creation? Because you know, people sometimes underestimate to what extent your unique expression can lead to something that the world will be working with for decades, and you don't know. You might be the next, you know, inventor of a new genre. Like,
Absolutely.
it's beautiful that.
So-
So what did you call it?
Yeah. So why did I call this cosmic surrealist avant-garde music? Is because
did you
of
call it?
cosmic surrealist avant-garde music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a cool name. and it takes inspirations from the Cosmo,
Yes.
because the sounds were very cosmic, so, and very experimental. You know what I'm saying? And surrealism, because do you remember surrealism as a movement? It was mostly based not on music, and there was Andrew Breton saying that, which is the principal theorist of surrealism, said that surrealism was not to be made in music, but it was wrong. So I contradicted what he said in a way into reality, but of
You
course
contradicted or you expanded.
expanded, yeah.
Because we can have several truths within. It's perspective, isn't
Exactly, and he didn't know because he didn't know about technologies, right? So after going through that path, of realizing like, oh, people like this, I started to write songs because I felt like a call. I want to come back to write lyrics, sing lyrics that are more meaningful, and utilizing the sounds together with my guitar and so forth. And so then I started to record Catharsis, which is the first singer-songwriter record that I did in the project of Infinitum Bye, and which is a conglomeration really of many musical genres, all clustered together with like some influences of cosmic surrealist avant-garde sounds coming in, with structures that are very avant-garde, like in a sense that are free flow streams of consciousness coming out of me by just like singing about my existence and how I feel about myself,
Your
etc.
truth.
You're my truth, yeah, exactly. And sorry for the burp. And yeah, I then experimented, with different kind of productions as well. Realized, I want the record to be like with different productions, not just one kind of productions. That would feel
It's
a bit.
again your fearless energy, your
Yes.
fearless spirit. It's like
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have to do something different a bit from there, So once I got that, then I realized, I really like this trajectory as well. And I listened to the reactions of people, etc. And they were like, oh, this is really cool. Like, very beautiful. I also really recorded with a lot of vocal effects. But we're not talking about autotunes. A lot of people use autotune, the pitch correction. But I was like using like all sorts of electrified distortions.
consider, and it's not to hate on the music industry as
Yeah.
per se, but autotune, as nice as it can be to simplify it for creatives, or for the ultimate sound, I feel like it kind of takes away from the
It
individuality.
takes away. You're absolutely true.
Even when somebody says is the pitch is slightly off, or it's the uniqueness.
The uniqueness.
To not,
And the soul. So I'm not okay with autotune. This is the reason why I've explored beyond that. I've allowed myself to toy around with like guitar pedals, watched a bit of the Strokes documentary talking about like overdrive vocals, and I didn't do it like them. I just decided to go in a different direction. I've seen some people toying around with like distortions, and then I realized like, no, I want like more to it, I want my vocals to sound like my textures that I create in cosmic surrealist avant-garde music, so that
Very
they
impressive.
wobble around.
I'm very impressed by
Thank you. I'm glad they wobble around. They go in every direction, so that the vocals become something else, and then the production and the nature of it changes completely. And through doing that, I realized I'm moving into something very interesting.
You're
here.
like a sound magician.
Yeah, literally. Some people say you're a sound shaman, but I would say sound magician is even better.
I think it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's just different placements would define it differently, but it is the same.
Exactly. And through that, then what I did is realizing, I'm creating a new language here. Like, I'm creating something that I personally dig a lot. And I honestly like want to go deeper with this. So
Even deeper.
Even deeper. Right. Yeah, exactly. So then I released Catharsis.
Yeah.
And it's been bought by many people around the globe, and been listened to by all sorts of people that I didn't even knew they existed. That then they messaged me, etc., about the record, and it still has to this day like over 30,000 YouTube likes on YouTube, and so I sold many copies as well personally in London.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it was a very beautiful moment, kind of shift in my life.
When was that?
2024. at the end of 2024. Yeah. And then started to work once I released Catharsis to another record called Songs from the Neurogenesis of Innate and Intuitive Wisdom.
Say that again.
Songs from the Neurogenesis of Innate and Intuitive Wisdom.
Whoa. The words you're throwing at me, because it's as much as I may expect a certain frequency of you, like you keep taking it up a notch. Yes.
Yes, which is a record that is very much about the formation of wisdom within one's own experience.
Yeah.
And so it's going even deeper there. Like you hear all sorts of sounds that are vocal effects made out of experimentalism beyond electrified distortions and things like that, merging with walls of sounds created by electric guitars or with a lot of kind of like experimentalism behind, and a lot of existential kind of lyrics.
Yeah.
And has been released on the 1st of January 2026.
Hey!
Yeah.
Yes, cool.
And it has been it's been doing very well. A lot of people loved it, and specifically, the people told me that their favorite songs are "The Stellar Man" and "To Be What You Dream," and some other people told me others as well. But
what is your favorite song?
my favorite personally is "The Stellar Man," because of the meaning of the song.
Yeah. By the way, when we met, your song was like a little bit went into a trance.
Yeah.
Which I think when music resonates with such depth of truth, it's what it does.
Yeah.
It carries you into it's like a portal.
Absolutely.
This is why you're the shaman.
Yeah.
And I was just reminded of so many beautiful things that had to do with the journey thus far. And you were like that mirror in the songs with the sweet sound, and it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just like, this is like therapy.
Yeah, it's therapy. Yeah, literally.
Your songs are very powerful.
Yes.
And I really, really appreciate that you work so hard in discovering and embracing yourself, because it resonates outwards. It radiates, and it's something that in the collective, I feel like you're doing the work. You're doing God's work. You're doing the things that is the reasons of your existence.
Yeah,
and
makes me human. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to be on the side of receiving as well. Like I am really, really grateful that we bumped into each other, that you approached us, that you spoke to us, and you were you.
Thank you so much, Orange.
Because that environment is not an environment where people usually feel confident to do that, because you don't know who you're going to talk to. I mean, we say we don't know, but there is still obviously the life's unfolding, so you always go to where you're supposed to go. But
exactly,
it's not an environment where I had expected that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I love risk taking. That's why. That's my thing as a soul. It's my kind of strength, And thank you so much, by the way, for saying that. It means a lot. And that's my kind of, I suppose, mission, to like unveil new ways of creating music, and so that people can finally be served something that isn't the same thing all the time,
Yeah, get it.
And talking about different topics and things that can lead you to existential questioning. I think
necessary.
That's
necessary.
Absolutely, because this is what we are here for: self-discovery.
This is what, self-acceptance.
And self-acceptance, which is still discovery.
Yeah, and not to fear what you may or may not discover.
Yeah.
The next step to the next step is a constant
Absolutely.
flow. A question I would like to ask you, because we're going to have to close this off.
Yeah.
Such a good.
I had the best time.
I feel like as spiritual beings, obviously we all have our missions and our calling. And as much as a lot of people are functioning in a small, they see this and then they see this.
Yeah,
I feel like in the calling, sometimes if you sit with your calling long enough, I feel like you understand the bigger picture.
Oh, yeah.
But you move in small steps.
Yes.
Right? So when it comes to what you will leave behind in this world, because you're impacting the world.
Yeah.
You're making a difference.
Yeah.
You're birthing, you're inventing, you're going to leave a lot of things behind.
Yes.
Like music lives forever.
Exactly.
You know?
You just said the best thing you could ever say in this
But
podcast. It's very important because we, as creator, we in the system that we live tend to believe that we're creating something that exists forever, and music is the only thing that is going to exist forever. The houses, all the assets that we can have, they're going to exist for some times, you know. But music is forever. It's immaterial. So yeah, that is why probably I chose music. You know, and yeah, I'm going to leave behind a good legacy.
what is the legacy?
Of work and music to listen to for generations and generations. And, you know...
What is your legacy?
My legacy, most likely also, like, I already, like, met some musicians that were inspired by me as well.
Yeah.
So that kind of legacy also, you know, which is a pretty cool one. In my,
How would you define that legacy? Because I know we don't want to cage ourselves in this limited experience that we want to do more infinite and unlimited things. But literally in the words, what do you think, if you look at your bigger, like the whole life that you've lived so far, your spirit?
Yeah.
What do you think is the seed that your spirit is here to plant and then move on? You know, because someone else is going to pick up that seed.
Yes, absolutely. So I would say the seed is a seed of innovation, of thought and perception about how we create music, and that can lead to, again, a new way of thought, change of thought and perception into other creators as well. As well as just something to experience that is being created with a different intent.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah, that is
beautiful.
That is what
we're
I'm
very
here for.
blessed with you.
Thank you so much. Orange, I had such a good time.
Thank you. If anything you would like to leave the viewers to know, maybe where they can find you,
Absolutely.
where they can see your upcoming, like anything you want to share.
Yeah. So you can find me at surrealiarecords.com. That's my actual
Can you spell it?
website. Yeah. surrealiarecords.com.
I'm going to type that underneath as well.
Yeah, that's better. And also, like, you can find me on Instagram by just typing in at Surrealia Records or Infinitum Bye as well, my artist name. Yeah, if you want to listen to my music, it's available on all sorts of platforms, from Spotify to YouTube, iTunes. And for my concerts, there's going to be a lot new stuff coming soon. So I would say stay tuned to those platforms and come to see my concerts.
Yeah, I want to come too. Well, thank you. Thank you. I was hoping, because you brought your guitar, I was hoping that we can have a little. Maybe you want to say bye to the viewers with your guitar?
Yeah, I can.
Because I actually wanted to hear something of your music,
it makes sense.
It might be too short. So
yeah, I think I'll be super quick, yeah? Not too long. So what I'm going to do...
Put myself in position.
Exactly. So it's going to be a new unreleased track that is going to be featured on my third record. My third record is going to be called Equilibrium. And this is called...
This is the camera, by the way.
Oh, apologize.
This one over there.
There you go. Falling from the Sky. There you go. Saw the sunrise, but he felt like it set. Birds in the branches, I dream I forget. The river runs endless, yet it circles the same. Whispering questions that have no name. stars are just holes in the curtain of night. What's left when the dawn pulls the thread tight? Am I falling, falling from the sky? Or just learning, learning how to fly? The wind hold me, does it let me go? I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much, Orange.
Thank you.
Big pleasure.
You guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you, guys.
and sharing space, bringing your energy and wisdom to the energy table.
A pleasure, Orange. Can do this anytime.
We shall. We shall. Thank you for tuning in. Please comment if you have any questions for Infinitum Bye. If you have any questions to me, if you have any questions to, your journey of inventing and rediscovering, have a talk. Let's speak. Let's open those books. Let's open those doors. But yeah.
You said it. You said it.
Yes, and you did it.
Yeah.
So have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you for tuning in and see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Infinitum Bye.
Infinitum Bye.